Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we will practice chapter 8 by doing this exercise. Consider an investment that cost $51,000 and has a cash inflow of $12,000 every year for 5 years. The required return is 5% and required payback is 4 years. Question 1. What is the payback period? Question 2. What is the NPV? Question 3. What is the IRR? Next, we have what is the profitability index? And finally, should we accept or reject the project? Considering this kind of exercise, the first step we have to do is to draw a timeline. Therefore, I will have a timeline which will be looking like this, starting from the current year until the last year of the investment. And this investment is stated to be 5 years. Therefore, we have year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. An investment that cost $51,000. Therefore, at year 0, which is the current year, we have the cash flow of minus $51,000 USD. The money that we put out our pocket to invest. Next, we have a cash inflow of $12,000 every year for 5 years. So from year 1 until year 5, we have the same cash inflow of $12,000 USD. So because we already have the cash flow stated on the timeline, we can easily do question number 1 now. What is the payback period? If you guys forget how to do it, please review the previous video where I have shown you guys meticulously the method in order to solve this kind of question. So we have to draw a table including CF, year, and the accumulated value. In year 0, we have the cash outflow of minus 51,000. In year 1, we have 12,000 cash inflow. Similarly until year 5. Next step, we calculate the accumulated value. In year 0, just a reminder, accumulated value equal the cash inflow plus the cash outflow. Therefore, in year 0, we have the cash accumulated value of minus 51,000. Because there is only cash outflow in year 0, no cash inflow. Next, in year 1, we have a 12,000 cash inflow. Now, we take this number, we add with the previous accumulated value, which is minus 51,000. So 12,000 plus minus 51,000 will be equal to minus 39,000. Similarly, we have minus 27,000, minus 15,000, minus 3,000. Finally, we have 9,000. Looking at the table, we can see that at year 5, the accumulated value changed the sign from negative to positive, positive 9,000. Therefore, as I have explained in the previous video, the payback period will be equal to the year before the sign change. So it's year 4. So we have 4 plus 3,000. 3,000 is the positive number of the accumulated value in year number 4. So 3,000 and divided by 12,000, which is the cash flow in the last year of the period. Calculating this, we have the answer of 4.25 years. Therefore, the payback period is 4.25, and 4.25 is our final answer for this question. Moving on to the next question. What is the NPV? I'm highly suggest you guys to use the BA calculator in order to calculate the NPV. The first step is to press the CF in order to activate the cash flow function. The CFO will be 51,000 minus 51,000. Enter, go down. Cash flow will be equal to 12,000. Cash flow number 1 will be equal to 12,000. Enter, go down. Here, what is the frequency? Just a reminder, frequency stands for how many times that a certain cash flow will be repeated in the future. Since we can see that from year 1 to year 5, the cash flow of 12,000 has been repeated 5 times in a row. Therefore, the frequency is equal to 5. So we press 5, enter. Then we press NPV, and the calculator asks us to type in the required return. As we can see in the question, the required return is 5%. So we press 5, enter. Next, we press go down. We press compute. And the NPV is equal to 953.72. So 953.72 is our final answer for question number 2. Question number 3, what is the IRR? So as I have explained before, IRR is the internal rate of return, which will make the NPV equal to 0. So therefore, now we can write the formula which look like this. 0 equal to minus 51,000 plus 12,000 divided by 1 plus R, so it's 5%, plus 12,000 divided by 1 plus 5% to the power of 2, until 12,000 divided by 1 plus 5% to the power of 5. Just a reminder, this one is a discounted cash flow valuation model. It's already shown in the first video of the course. So if you guys have any trouble, feel free to get back to it. It's always there. And I have calculated this one. The answer I get is IRR equal to 5.67%. And what does it mean? It means that at the rate of 5.67%, the net present value will be equal to 0. We are now being asked to calculate the profitability index. Just a reminder, the profitability index is equal to the sum of every future cash inflow discounted to the current time, divided by the absolute value of the initial investment, which is the cash outflow. Knowing that, I can surely write the formula to compute the profitability index of this exercise. It will be equal to the sigma of t equal 1 to 5 of 12,000 divided by 1 plus 5% to the power of t. And all of this divided by the absolute value of the initial investment, which is 51,000. So absolute value of minus 51,000 USD. This one is equal to 51,954 divided by 51,000. Finally, I calculated and get the answer of 1.02. And last question, should we accept the project? So for this question, we have to answer, should we accept the project for every scenario, for every investing strategy that we apply? So question 1 was about the payback period. And for payback period, we only accept the project if the payback period will be smaller than our required payback period. As we can see in the question, they say that the required payback is 4 years. However, our answer is 4.25, which is higher than our criteria, our investment criteria of 4 years. Therefore, for question 1, we do not accept the project. How about question 2? For question 2, the investment criteria is that anytime the NPV is larger than 0, we will accept the project. And since the net present value we calculated was 953.72, which is a lot greater than 0, so we accept the project. Third question, IRR equal to 5.67%. As I have explained in the previous video, we will accept the project if we know that the IRR is higher than the required return, since the required return is 5%. So 5.67 is larger than 5%. So we also accept the project for the IRR method. Finally, profitability index in question number 4. A good profitability index is usually larger than 1. And since 1.02 is also bigger than 1, so we accept the project as well. So in conclusion, for this exercise, we do not accept the project in the case of the payback period, and we accept the project in all other cases, including NPV, IRR, and profitability index. Therefore, in the previous video, I have always said that please do not consider payback period as your optimized investing strategies. It's not efficient. Keep that in mind. Question number 2. Company D is evaluating a project with the following cash flow. Calculate the IRR by using one of the adjusted method. So for this question, why do they ask to calculate the IRR by using one of the adjusted method? The answer is simply because the cash flow we can see here changed the sign more than one time. First year we have minus 32,600, and at the end of the period we have minus 4,230. This indicates that this one is not a conventional cash flow, but a non-conventional cash flow. In any case of the non-conventional cash flow, NPV is the best method we should use. However, as I have explained in the previous video, we can also use, of course, we can use the modified internal rate return by using one of the 3 approaches. Today, I'm going to use the combination approach. So as I've explained before, the combination approach is a mix of the discounted approach and the reinvestment approach. So the first thing we need to do, the first step we take is to draw the adjusted timeline. The first step we need to take is to discount every future cash outflow back to the first year in the current year, year 0. As we can see, in year number 5, we have a cash outflow of minus 4,230. Therefore, we will have to discount it to the current year before adding up with the current cash outflow. So, we will have the cash flow in year 0, which is now equal to minus 32,600 plus minus 4,230 divided by 1 plus the required return. The required return here, I will suppose to be equal to 10%. So I will, yeah, it's a missing data. So R is equal to 10%. So CF0 will be equal to minus 32,600 plus minus 4,230 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power of 5, which is the number of the period. This will be equal to minus 35,226.5. Therefore, the cash flow, the new cash flow, the adjusted cash flow in the current year will be equal to minus 35,226.5. So this is just the first step. The second step is is to calculate the future value of every cash inflow toward the end of the period, which is year number 5. To do so, we have this formula. So our new CF5 will be equal to 11,520, which is the cash flow in year 1, times 1 plus 0.1 to the power of 4. So 4 years above year number 1 is toward the end of the period. Therefore, the future value of 11,520 after 4 years' time is 11,520 times 1 plus the R, which is the required return, 10%, to the power of 4. And similarly, we will have 14,670 times 1 plus 0.1 to the power of 3 plus 11,270 times 1 plus 0.1 square. And finally, we have 10,940 times 1 plus 0.1. And after calculating it, the answer I got is 62,062.9. So 62,062.9. Now that we already have CF0 and CF5, our new cash flow, the timeline will be looking like this. Year 0 minus 35,226.5, year 1, 0, year 2, 0, year 3, 0, year 4, 0, and year 5, 62,062.9. Our tax is much more easier now to compute the IRR. We can also use the BI calculator to calculate the IRR, and we can do it like this. First step is also to activate the CF function. CF0 is 35,222.6.5. Oh, it's negative 35,226.5. Enter, go down. CO1 will be 0. And so, as you guys can see, it will be repeated for 4 times. Our new cash flow from year 1 to year 4. So enter, go down. The frequency is 4 since we have 40. Enter, go down. Finally, the CO2 will be 62,062.9. We enter. Now, the next and the most important step to calculate IRR, simply by pressing the IRR and we press CPT. Oh, the answer is 11.9934. So our final answer for this question is 11.9934%. And that's how you find the modified internal rate of return, by using the combination approach. And this is also the end of our video today. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video.